Welcome into the Cowboys Report. NFL free agency once again ongoing, so we're live again. This is actually the fifth live show we've done in 4 days, which doesn't make sense, but that is where we are at. That's how math works out there in the end. Tom Downey here once again, producer Trace behind the scenes, ready to have a good time here, have some fun on today's live show. We'll break down the latest on the Dallas Cowboys. I want you to grade Cowboys free agency so far. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about what the Cowboys have been doing so far? Vote for me in the comment section and in the pinned poll of today's show. We can bring on Trace. He is an unbiased, impartial observer with how things are going. Feel free to bring your camera up, too, by the way.
Absolutely.
If you want to
get
a split there.
Set up, brother.
Yeah, go for it. That's fine with me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section. I'll probably have you add just one thing on Jerry Jeudy for our rumors cut. Just add a bio in there just when you get a chance. Obviously, no rush. We got plenty of time here on today's show. Haven't even tweeted it out yet. That's how quick we were getting everything ready here. So, great Cowboys free agency. I'll give some shout-outs in the meantime. The Bees are winning, by the way. 54% are voting in favor of the Bees. 29% going, or 30% going A, now 53% going B. 15% say C, 2% D or F. I don't, if you're voting D or F, let me know why you are that unhappy with the Cowboys free agency at this point. I see mostly A's in there. Jermaine says I voted B on a large swing out for the Cowboys. Average free agency is above average, so it's a B for me. I think that's a fair comment to make because they did one thing that's outside of their team so far. It's one thing. It's more than what they did last year at this time, though. So, A's. I will say I am counting the Stephon Gilmore trade as part of free agency. That might not exactly be fair, but I am going to count it from that standpoint. So let me get our tweet set up for today's show. So I don't forget to tag Trace in either. That's very mean of me if I don't do it. See if Twitter actually suggested it properly. I've noticed lately on Twitter, like if you type in like the first part of a handle, half the time it won't actually bring up the right handle, which is like really obnoxious because what's the point? There's really no reason to have that be the case. It's super obnoxious there. So tweet is out. Alec going down. Feel free to retweet it. We'll have some games involving that later on in today's show there. Great Cowboys free agency so far. I see C+. Add a left guard. I'll give it an A+. I mean, I agree. People talk. You're not getting Stephon Diggs. You maybe get DeAndre Hopkins. At no point have you ever had a chance of getting Stephon Diggs. It doesn't make sense for the Bills, and that is important to always remember because it has to make sense for both parties involved. So I know Trayvon wants his brother here, and I get it. I do too, but it just ain't going to happen there. We will talk about DeAndre Hopkins. I promise you that'll be a part of today's show. We did it yesterday as well. We did it yesterday too. More sober in theory this time around here. Let's see. A, B+. I see B's in there. Occasional C, but mostly B's. Trace, unbiased opinion. How do you feel?
I like the Cowboys.
You made it choose Trace.
I think the Cowboys offseason,
it's funny.
It's sometimes the best move is the move you don't make. So sometimes it's not going and paying way too much for a player. I think that the Cowboys are doing the things they need to do. I'm excited to see what they do at the draft, though. The draft will be interesting for the Cowboys.
Keep the first. That's all I ask for. I have the first round pick in the bag for myself. Otherwise, I get kind of down because then I don't get to have a first round pick. And they do pretty well in the first round, historically speaking. So A, B, C, D, or F. We'll talk about some receivers. Jerry Jeudy. We'll talk about DeAndre Hopkins. More of the same on that front, but different reports from different people. So it ends up being new news, I guess, there. As it relates to Odell Beckham, then we'll get to Hayden Miller's super chat here momentarily. Do you want to sign Odell Beckham? My issue here, and Trace, I know you're a Saints fan, and you don't want him on the Saints. My issue is the asking price of wanting allegedly $15 to $20 million.
Yeah.
That's way too much money for a guy who I genuinely don't know if he could pass a physical right this second.
Yeah,
I don't know if he could. And
and
that scares me. And that one really, really scares me. So we'll go more in depth in this, but there are some super chats here. $10. We'll break down what the super chat menu is for today's portion of the show here. Hop would really say like to take a pay cut to play for the Cowboys. So I think we need to be careful with what we do with the aggregators. Allegedly, Hopkins has been saying he wants to be a Cowboy, and he would take less than market to go be a Cowboy. That can be deceptive because I think less than market for Hopkins could still easily be $20 million a year. And if that's what it costs, it still might be a little too deceptive on that standpoint. Like, if he wants to take a straight pay cut, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll be flexible on the contract is a standpoint of I don't have to get top 3 money like I did last time, but I do want to still get top money from, like, I want to be top 10 on that standpoint. So I would be very careful, and we've been down this road before, looking at this player wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. I would go make this happen. I would love to move my second-round pick. It's available right now for DeAndre Hopkins. But I don't think he's going to say, I will take significantly less money and just I'll play for $10 million. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. And we know the game, too. Link yourself to Dallas. Tend to get what you really want there in the end. But I would have interest for the exact same reason you suggest there, JT. I would have interest there, but I don't think it seems like the Cowboys don't at this point. So let's be patient on that front there. DT, they'll sign some guys. I think they'll try to bring back Hankins. They'll look to make moves at that standpoint. So cheers. There we go. All right. Thank you, JT. Woo. Hayden Miller. Gallup in a Diop trade. What could it look like? Will not happen. If you trade Michael Gallup right now, you actually lose $10.6 million in salary cap space because you just restructured his deal. So because of that, he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
He is a Cowboy. Like it or not, he is a Cowboy. So, Brett Stevens, I think that's $5 beer cheers here. I'll have to check the menu in a moment. Honest opinion, if we get Dalton Reisner, I don't know if they want to spend on the offensive line. Something tells me this team is going to be a little bit more committed to looking at the draft market first. Again, when we did my ideal offseason plan, Dalton Reisner was on there. Stephon Gilmore was not, actually, which is kind of funny how that all turned out. But I would have interest in figuring out if I could get him on because I'm a little surprised he's still unsigned. I like him as a football player. If you can get him in decent shape, I would be happy. I would like that, but my hopes are always low when it comes to the Cowboys. So there you go. Here's our super chat. Oh, the 3-1. Sorry. The list 3. My bad. That'll be our one later. There we go. More super chats coming in here. $5 is beer cheers, though. I do know that one's still the same there. Chris B, Tom, a chance to hear Dak's comments today. I did. To me, it sounds like his tone has changed. Said it's time now. No sugarcoating. Sounds a little bit different. I think you got to be careful with what parts of Dak you listen to. He's always made those it's time to win football games standpoint there. I would like it if they were aggressive. And I don't know if they're really going to be aggressive in the way that they need to be. Like, I would go pursue a DeAndre Hopkins right now. I would go do what you're a Saints fan.
Yeah.
Not even to the same extreme level of the New Orleans Saints or the Rams, but I would be a little bit more aggressive, especially for a team that has moved on from three of your quarterback's closest friends. Even if at least 2 of them were objectively the correct move. We can argue about Kellen, but the other 2 were objectively right moves in Lyle Collins and Zeke Elliott. So, got to be careful there. All right, more beer cheers.
I don't know if we're going to get to show them the Super Chat menu, Tom. They're just rolling in.
That's fine with me. $5 beer cheers. What combo of wide receiver guard would be the best out of Chark Hardman, Risner, Suimalo? I think Risner would be a little bit more cheaper, so I'm going to go that one. As for Chark Hardman, pick one.
Yeah, flip a coin.
I think it's Chark, but both guys are going to bring you speed. So I would appreciate that because what I don't want to have happen is what we just saw last offseason. And you don't actually get better on offense. You run it back on offense. You get similar results that aren't good enough for what we all want. And you go, and then it's surprised Pikachu face. We're mad at whether it's the quarterback or the play call or whatever. We're like, but we knew this going in that you weren't going to be good enough on offense. Then you act surprised when they weren't good enough on offense. Mm-hmm. Like, 'cause that's what happened this year. And at that point, they'll never do it. But it's like, okay, if you're never going to be aggressive, you got to start changing things that you can change.
Yeah.
Which would probably make you worse in the short term and, frankly, in the long term as well. So, thanks to you, Richard. $10 MNZ Games. Let's ride. Man, I might be getting a little bit tipsy before the show even begins.
Hey, there's no better way to talk ball than after a few drinks.
After a few drinks, yeah. There you go. All right. Bottoms up. Thank you, MNZ.
That's a good
Caleb,
stuff.
$2. JMS in the second and moving the guard. That's John Michael Schmitz.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be surprised. When we talked to him at the Combine, he made unprompted comments about the Cowboys. I asked him, like, how did you meet with the Cowboys going? He brought up playing guard unprompted, which makes me think they talked to him about playing guard at the Combine. So that's my interpretation there. But that's going that way unprompted makes me think it was the case. I could absolutely see that being an outcome there for the Cowboys. I don't know if he gets to, though, in the second round. We're also at the point, Trace, where there are 50 players going in the first round. So there will be guys who slide.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a matter of how far he ends up sliding down there. Corey Forum, get Bobby, get Hardman, no D-Hop or OBJ. Got to pay our current guys soon. I mean, if you're going to pay Bobby and Hardman, you could easily pay one of those other guys. I would go make the move for Hopkins. I think he's better. If you want to go a little bit cheaper and get Wagner and Hardman, I'm fine with that as well. But it's kind of a wait and see on that standpoint. Chris B, Jerry Jeudy, all reports we called again. Yeah, we've talked about that for a while before. We hit it briefly on yesterday's show too, Jerry Jeudy. Cowboys did have interest in him at the trade deadline, did not get done. Multiple reports have now said that the Broncos want a first, or like the update from Albright was a second and a player.
Yeah.
And I think the player is supposed to be a good player, so, I mean, I'm not trading a first for Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd say, like, what player would you want to give up for Jerry Jeudy, though? You know?
Boss Man Fat? They're not going to do that, by the way. Sorry. So it'd be a fun addition, but I think at the cost, I think the Cowboys are going to be out. I don't even know if they want to move the 2 for Hopkins. So
yeah.
That's what gets a little bit dicey there. All right, this is our Super Chat menu. $5 beer cheers, $10 shots, $50 for a beer bong. I like how people are throwing in, just like on Twitter, throwing Kelvin Joseph. We're obviously kidding because we know that nobody actually wants Kelvin Joseph on the team. No one wants him. Frankly, he might not make the roster this year. So that's our Super Chat menu. $5 beer cheers, 10 for shots, 50 cheaper than normal. It's a beer bong for you guys on today's show. All right, share this video on Twitter. If you tag me on Twitter when you do it, I will give you a follow back. If it's easier for you, you can also, I'll put the link in the comments. I should have put that in the script and didn't. If it's easier for you, you can also just throw it in, just retweet me on social media too. So helps us out, helps us continue to grow to more people. Get that video up on Twitter. You can click the share. I think we had the list 4. I think I moved it over. Again, kind of chaos here. Yeah, we got it. Click the share button, Twitter icon, post to Twitter, and then tag me or Chat Sports if you want to. For a shout-out. I will give shout-outs to all those who do it. I know it's a bit of a more time-consuming process, so we'll give you guys time. We won't start anything. So, Richard Wilson, I see you. There's your follow back. Appreciate that, my friend. I see people retweeting the pin tweet as well, so I'll go follow you guys too. I appreciate that. That is Lone Wolf. It's Butters, Apex, and Dominic Service already doing it in there. Hit the refresh button one more time. Appreciate that, guys. Remember, share button, Twitter icon, post to Twitter, tag me as well. So Samuel, I see you. Lone Wolf, I see you. I'll make sure I'm following everybody here because it'll get out of hand if I'm not careful. It's fun though. Apex, I got you, bud. Thank you. There we go. We'll throw some retweets here. I was following you, Shane. My bad. There we go. We'll throw some retweets in here too. Why not? Get the timeline all mad at me for throwing the retweets in everywhere. Appreciate that. Cameron, I got you with the follow back. One more refresh. We'll check back in later too. For those of you who end up getting accidentally watching on tape delay, because that happens every time, that people just get a little bit behind in there. Let me make sure. Big and Keith and Lone Wolf. There you go. We'll do one more refresh. It's more fun that way. Make sure I didn't miss any here.
Don't be like those fraudulent Commander fans. Like, share the video. Like that. Like, if you don't, you're pretty much the same as a Commanders fan. It's just brutal.
We got it. All right. More supers. Then eventually we'll start today's show. Chris B, give the 2 for D-Up. We don't pick the best in the second. Yeah, that's why I'm on board moving the 2. That's why I want to keep the 1, because you draft well in the first and not so much in the second round there. Brendan missing. Over under 10 picks for Diggs this year. So pumped to watch the secondary this year. Cheers. I'm always going to go under. But remember, if you get 7, you had a great year. So I do think under on that front, but I think it'll be a very good year for Trayvon Diggs in what could very well end up being a contract year for Trayvon this offseason. All right, Jay and Quick, cheers. I think the only reason the Cowboys haven't talked with the Cardinals is because of OBJ. It worries me that the report is they haven't talked yet because, like, what are you doing? Go talk to him about DeAndre Hopkins. Unless they did their internal scouting and were like, yeah, we don't want Nuke, which is weird. If that's the route or I guess external scouting skill. It's kind of a weird path to go down there. I don't think it's OBJ. I think they know what the cost is, and I think that scares them a little bit in the end. So cheers, Jay and Quick. And Mark! Can you see us getting Bijan and letting Pollard go in 24? The shot he drops down seems like a top 10 player. How can you ignore that? Positional value matters. Again, I will feel much more comfortable going after Bijan Robinson is if you address all of your needs. If you get a receiver, if you get the guard, the defensive tackle we've talked about, Mark. You get those guys, I'll feel better because it's a low-value position. It's a running back. Even at their best, they're playing 50, 60% of your snaps there. So that's where I'm at. But if they do take Bijan, yes, I think they do what they did with Schultz. They keep him here for a year, move on. All right, Jeff C., $10. All right, another shot, Jeff. You got it, bud. You got it. It's like SDSU's about to beat Charleston. I think there's spread drama here, by the way.
I think massive spread implications on this.
Cheers. Mike Diop for reliability. Hardman for constant speed. How much Hardman asking for? Salute. Jack Vanilla is what I've got. Cheers. Jack Vanilla sounds actually pretty good. Jack Daniels Vanilla sounds good. This is just the normal.
Jack Daniels Vanilla sounds awesome.
Tennessee whiskey. I think he wants around 6. I think that's kind of like the going rate right now is in that $6 million, and I would do that. I would do that. I don't think he's that great of a player, but I need the speed. So Caleb Torrent, a hot take, but I think this can be referred to Tajay Spears in your top 5 backs this year. I don't have any issues with that. Agree. Medical's got to get checked out for him, but it's a really good running back class, and in like last year's class, he would have been top 5, I think, pretty easily. So yeah, I have no complaints.
I'll say I saw that he ran his 40 at his pro day today at Tulane. I think it was like a 4. Hold on, what is it? It's a 4.6, 4.7 or 4.47.
Okay.
4.47.
Yeah, I mean 4.6. I was like, oh no.
That's bad. Yeah,
4.47. 4.47's fine for him. Okay, that makes me. We had me. I'm at the 4.6. I'm like, wait, why? There's no way.
I was trying to
That's bad time. Oof. Okay, we're good there. Mark, see a good quarterback dropping to Dallas in round 2. Define good. Is Hendon Hooker good? I kind of don't like. I don't think he's a second round player. I think he's the next best corner. but or next best quarterback after your big four. But I like him a lot more at like the 4th round or maybe even the 3rd round than I do in the 2nd round because I don't have. He's old. He played in a Mickey Mouse offense that didn't attack the middle of the field and was a one-read quarterback. So he needs time to adjust. And I don't like old projects. Old projects scare me because that typically doesn't turn out the way I like them to. All right, next question. Then we can skip the other ones and jump into our cuts here. Was cutting Zeke the right move? Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. Y for yes, N for no. We'll do the like driver, though. I think we should do that, too. Keep those likes up there. A lot of yeses, and I'm glad this is the right answer. It's fine to mourn Zeke. I have no complaints on that, but it was not it was the right move. What am I could not pay him what he was currently making. I couldn't. So at minimum, I had to do a major pay cut. I have now locked that in at this point. So if you want to remember Zeke fondly, I get it. I really do. But I think you had to. It's fine if it's yes, but sadly, or if it hurts, it's totally fine. But yeah, you had to move on. I will say, all the thank you Zeke stuff, I don't. Maybe it's just Twitter's different now. I don't remember that for DeMarcus Ware. Facts. I don't even remember that for Des Bryant.
Facts.
And that's weird to me because those guys were better for you, and they were still better when you moved on from them.
Facts.
I don't get that part. I don't get that part. All right, like the video. If you want us to get today's show started, we can do the 3 supers that came in. Why not? It's fun. We're having fun today, right? If we can get to 50%, do you want to do a shot? All right, cool. Trace will do a shot. I got Jack, but if you want to go get Fireball and stuff, you're off for Jack? Cool. I only have 1 shot glass, so I didn't grab you one. Bet. You can go do it now while we do the likes here. 50% is 369 likes. That's the number we're going to aim for. 369. How about that? It's a fun. Is that even half, by the way? Oh, it's almost exactly half. 369 on the likes. If we get there, Trace will do a shot. So we need 200 more from the 700, almost 800 people watching live right now. Like the video. It's free. It's easy to do. And it gets us out to more people when it's all said and done. So like the video. I'll give you guys some time here. Jeff C., any reason for a shot? You're damn right. $2.16. I had to text the wife back. Poor baby Olivia is not feeling well. She is very sick. Fever and everything. She's been sleeping all day, which I hope doesn't screw her up for tonight because that means I'm not sleeping again. So like the video. We're at 222. I don't know, Trace. Don't know. It's a lot. That's a lot of likes to do. You guys can do it. 50%. All we're asking there. By the way, Gardner Minshew is a Colt. He's going to go be the backup quarterback in Indianapolis for what we assume is a draft pick at number 4 or number 3 or wherever they end up taking one there. So Indy has their backup with Shane Steichen, Gardner Minshew there. I don't think we're going to get there. I'm going to call it. All right.
That's unfortunate, guys.
No
I really
shot
wanted
for
a
Trace.
shot. I really wanted a shot.
No shot for Trace. No shot for Trace. All right. Jeff C., who is our quarterback 2 this year? For now, Will Grier. Who will it be? A draft pick or a different veteran. The longer Cooper Rush stays unsigned, the better chance he ends up back in Dallas. So I think kind of works for Schultz, by the way, too. JT, $5. Cheers. Maybe it's actually good GMing. Maybe the Cowboys have talked with the Cards, but they want other teams to know so they don't swoop in. Wouldn't that be nice, JT? That's what it should be. It should be, no, we haven't had conversations. Now, if you're really doing the good GMing part, you're just not getting back to the reporters who ask you. That's what you should be doing. But I want to believe that's the route they're going. Chiefs Productions, I see you. Remy Michael, $10. Okay. That's a shot. Possibility of getting Odell Beckham / Nuke and still using pick 26 on a guy like Njigba. In the event that, like, Jackson Smith and Njigba is available and he's the best player on the board, sure, I'm fine with that. I would say most likely outcome is you do one of those two things. Well, what you might see is you get Odell Beckham / Nuke, and then you draft like Dalton Kincaid in round 1. So cheers to you, Remy. Bottoms up. Chris B, hate to say it, but I think we are done making any big moves. Might sign a couple cheap players, but Gilmore was our splash. Hope I'm wrong, though. I'm inclined to agree because we've been burned before. I mean, we talked, you weren't here, Trish. We talked for like an hour yesterday about how I've been burned before and why I wasn't buying the eyeball emoji stuff on social media about Hopkins and whatnot there. Because we've been burned. Gilmore's their biggest off-season move since Brandon Carr.
Yeah.
It's a low bar. It was a decade ago. So I hope I'm wrong. I would love a receiver. I would be thrilled with a Mecole Hardman signing. That's where we're at. I don't know if that's going to happen, though, in the end. All right, Andrew Vanderpool. Another shots. Okay. Lord above.
Don't sound so excited, Tom.
It's a lot of drinking before we even get into today's show, man. Who would you rather have, Hyatt with the first or Tillman in the third? I crave the speed of Jalen Hyatt, but value-wise, it'd be Tillman for me. It's kind of a cop-out answer, but what's up, Chase? There we go. Cheers to you, Andrew. All right, next up is Ronald Reagan. Wait a minute. Spend money on the offensive line, make lesser players better. I'm inclined to agree. When you have a better offensive line, your running backs in particular start to look a little bit better. All right, Mark, assuming these guys are gone, Schultz, Connor, Hill, Noah, Cooper, or will be gone. We're getting comp picks for them. Connor McGovern, yes, that's in line for a 6/7th right now. Noah Brown is tentatively hovering at a 7th round pick. Schultz and Cooper Rush depend on the money side. No, we're about to be finally. Sorry. The Supers came in. What are you going to do, you know? So we'll see about the exact numbers, but Connor should get you one. Noah Brown might, actually. Luke Gifford probably won't. We'll see. You should get some comp picks, though. Alan Gonzalez, what about T.Y. Hilton? Why wouldn't you re-sign him? He had one nice play for you, a couple nice third down plays, actually, and that was it. I kind of want to go younger in the end. Eli Aaron, I see they have 13.3 in cap space now because of restructures. Sign or trading happening today. It's actually a bit more than 13. It's approaching $20 million now at this point. But I don't think you are in a spot where you're guaranteed to see that. Because you weren't going to have Zeke at his current deal. You didn't want Tyron Smith on his current deal. You clearly trusted Gallup and Tank Lawrence, but you wanted flexibility anyway. So remember the stages. Cowboys clear cap space. Doesn't mean they're going to do something. All right, Nicholas Bigelow. Cheers. Love to trade for D-Hop. We cover the two biggest needs. You can find a guard, take the best guy on the board. Cowboys did something. Wouldn't that be nice? Chris B., how much cap do we actually have? Heard different numbers. The numbers are different because it all gets counted a little bit differently based on different sites. So you're hovering around, let me double check my numbers here, my internal numbers. You're hovering somewhere in that 20-ish, 23-ish $1 million range, give or take some dollars. And as guys get signed, that will change too. Brandon J., would a Judy trade make sense given what Denver is asking pick-wise and the fact he's seeking a new contract on the same timeline as CeeDee Lamb? More on that in a little bit, I promise you, on today's show. One more $10, then we're going to start the cut finally. Hey, Tom, you think NFL will ever add a luxury tax, the salary cap? You think Catboy would be more inclined to spend? Love the show. No, because Jerry Jones was a big proponent of the salary cap. He wanted to make it more balanced and more even for NFL teams. He was a big pusher of that, even though he could have just had all the players on his team if he wanted to. He did not want to go down that route. All right, coming up on today's live show, some Cowboys rumors and news. We will do some Cowboys free agency grades for you. A Cowboys mailbag. Make sure you guys are getting your questions in using hashtag Cowboys or by Super Chat. I think we'll go quicker on the rumors and grades with less in between stuff to get to the Q&A, so you guys as Supers get featured on the actual mailbag side of it there. And Ezekiel Elliott destinations, including the The Cowboys dream reunion totally dead? We'll see. All coming up here live on the Dallas Cowboys Report. Today's Cowboys Report is brought to you by RexMD. If you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, maybe you had a few too much to drink, everyone's been there. RexMD is helping you avoid that problem. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered, up to 90% off, and only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. It's rexmd.com/chat. Tell you more about them later on in today's show. We begin with time is a flat circle, and the Odell Beckham and the Dallas Cowboy rumors are back once again, because of course it is. Jordan Schultz reports that Beckham has had positive discussions with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's basically what Jerry Jones had said at the Combine and around that before. He also mentioned the Ravens and Chiefs, and we know the Giants and Jets have been in there, and the Bills, because even though he had the special workout, we're right where we were at Thanksgiving. It's the same team still involved potentially in the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. He allegedly wants a multi-year deal, reportedly $15 to $20 million. Now, that is a problem for me, and I think the rest of the NFL, unless the vast majority of that deal is incentive-based. Because you have a player coming off a torn ACL in the Super Bowl, but we are approaching 14 months now from that injury. And for Odell Beckham to be saying, oh, hey, we're looking at 5 months, I'm going to be feeling even better. We should already be at that point. I am worried about the injury because he wasn't ready to play this year, which was the whole reason why Dallas had interest in the first place. And now we're maybe not sure he's ready to go. I don't like that very much. Receiver's a need, though, for this Cowboys team. And I promise you, they want a playmaker. They want to get another wide receiver on this team. The question is, who is it? How do you make that happen? Is it trade? We'll look at some trade options. Is it draft? We'll have plenty of draft stuff here. Odell Beckham is something that Jerry Jones wants. Jerry Jones is driving the bus on this particular interest. And in the end, I do believe the Cowboys have interest. But for the team, not just your owner and GM or your de facto GMs, the contract matters. If Odell's being firm and fast and I want a 3-year deal, $15 million, 2 years guaranteed, I'm not sure the Cowboys have that much interest in the end because they don't like to spend money in free agency by choice, and that is a valid concern when you have a player who missed an entire year with an ACL. It should not be a season-long injury. Even if you come back and you're not the same like Gallup, well, aren't we now worried about Beckham not being the same when he comes back in his first year? I certainly am. So more on this in a moment, but do you want to sign Odell Beckham? OBJ for yes, no BJ for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it, head down there, and let me know. At the $20 million per year range, at the $15-ish million per year price tag, I am out. I am not interested in going that route for Odell Beckham. That's too much money. But I do know the Cowboys want a wide receiver. We will look at some more names they could hypothetically begin to pursue, whether it's in free agency, in the trade market that's been the eye emoji stuff for days now on social media, or maybe a day now, I guess I should say there. They want another playmaker because they somewhat learned their lesson. They need another playmaker on this team. We'll break down some options, DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy among them. But first, you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom. You've had those nights where you're a little nervous, or you had too much to drink. As I sit here looking at my desk from our live show, there's nothing worse than not being able to put the stick shift in drive when you need it the most. But have no fear, RexMD is here, spreading cheer, even if you had a few too many beers. RexMD is FDA approved and the most trusted leader in men's telehealth. They have sponsored today's Cowboys Report to help you always be prepared. RexMD has made it simple, easy, and cost-effective to help all the men out there last longer and feel more confident in the bedroom. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online. There's no prescription. There's no waiting rooms. They'll deliver it discreetly to your door. No embarrassing trips to the doctor, etc. They will take care of you. Make it easier for you. No insurance, no co-pays either, by the way. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and save up to 90% and only pay $2 per dosage. That is rexmd.com/chat. Starter packs of generic Viagra and Cialis are available. It's rexmd.com/chat, up to 90% off. Let's go to the latest on DeAndre Hopkins, as trade rumors have again surfaced linking Dallas to a potential DeAndre Hopkins trade. The gist of it is this from Jane Slater, which we again broke down yesterday. This is my evening tweet covering my bases. I've asked anything to the Hopkins rumors. Now with more restructuring, and Zeke, a source said, no D-up talk from us. Guess he's telling everybody he wants to be a Cowboy. Any surprise moves right now like Gilmore coming? No. I would always urge caution with the player wants to be a Cowboy. Von Miller had interest in being a Cowboy. Lots of players have interest in being a Cowboy. They're still at the age where they grew up being Cowboys fans, and Hopkins, of course, trains in Dallas like a lot of the players do, and I absolutely would have interest. I promise you on that. But, right? I think it's about the second-round pick. I'd move it. Hopkins has missed time the past 2 years. I don't really care. He's still a really good football player for you, and although I crave speed, especially on the outside at wide receiver, Hopkins is such a still, I believe, premier player that it would make sense. But I have to see it actually go down before I start to think it could actually happen for this Cowboys team, because just because the player has interest doesn't mean the two other teams involved in a trade have interest on that front. So that starts to make things at least a little bit more murky. I know they want a receiver. I think it would be a little bit weird if they really hadn't had any Hopkins conversations, because then they're just not doing their jobs. Makes the whole thing kind of fishy there. All right, name a wide receiver, whether it's draft, trade, free agency, who you guys want to get. Sound off for me in the comments section. Now, there's also the Jerry Jeudy trade rumors back again. They got the Hopkins, Odell Beckham, Jeudy stuff is not new. Report is out of Denver that the Benjamin Albright that the Cowboys are among the teams that have called. Denver wants a first or an early second and a player, which the Cowboys don't have the early second. They have a late second or a late first, so that doesn't really start to make enough sense there. I think at the asking price, knowing that Lamb is also due for a new deal and Judy's on the exact same timeline with no real flexibility there beyond maybe one franchise tag, but kind of want to save that for maybe Trayvon Diggs. I think the asking price for Jerry Jeudy is too high. You're right to call, but I think the asking price is a little bit higher than what the Cowboys are prepared to meet, because I don't think I want to move the first for Jerry Jeudy either. All right, some news now. The Tyron Smith contract details. Smith and the Dallas Cowboys agreed to a contract restructure on Wednesday. We actually have the details now for you. Make sure I get the overall number. It has brought down his salary cap number significantly. He is now looking at a 1 year, $6 million deal, up to $17 million maximum. This saves $9.6 million in salary cap space. He's got playing time incentives that start at 50% playing time, $1 million every 5% increase there, maximum of $9 million there. There's $500,000 for each playoff win. That also does require 75% regular season playing time and 51% playoff time. So the more he plays, the more Tyron Smith ends up getting. So for now, this is how I would structure your offensive line depth chart. The law firm of Smith & Smith on the left side. Tyler Biadasz there at center. Zach Martin. Terrence Steele. That's fine, but you need premium veteran insurance if you're going to trust Tyron Smith. When the Cowboys make moves, we make the news. That's what I meant to say, but I kind of botched it there. Hit that subscribe button. Free videos every single day right here on the Cowboys Report. Whatever's going on, we have you guys covered on the Dallas Cowboys. Let's move to Bobby Wagner now, the former Seahawks and Rams linebacker, once again linked to the Cowboys in free agency. But the decision to re-sign Leighton Vander Esch probably takes Dallas out of the Wagner running. Wagner was still very good this year. Was he really an all-pro caliber player? I'm not so sure about that one. But he played a very strong and impactful role for the Los Angeles Rams. And with Dan Quinn and about $20-ish million in cap space, yes, I would have interest in pursuing Bobby Wagner in the open market. The issue is with Vander Esch now under contract. I know Anthony Barr is a free agent. I don't want to give Damone Clark or Jabril Cox or Devin Harper a chance. That's the route I would go because I don't know if I want to spend massive money at inside linebacker. If it's Bobby Wagner or nobody, I think I'd rather take Bobby Wagner. But I've got focal points on the interior of the defensive line, maybe an O-line, and, of course, the aforementioned wide receiver conversation. What's the percent chance the Cowboys end up getting Bobby Wagner? Sound off for me in the comment section of today's show. I think it's a low number, but feel free to sound off. All right, the latest on Dante Fowler. Josina Anderson had said the Cowboys were in discussions to keep Fowler in Dallas. That was on day 1 of free agency. Here we are now on day 4, and there's been no update, which makes me wonder whether or not it was really they were working hard or if that was just the standard company line there. Dante Fowler did finish with 6 sacks in the season, but he really tailed off down the stretch and wasn't playing in your most important game of the season against the San Francisco 49ers. Had just a handful of snaps. So what I would do, because you got bodies at defensive end right now, you got Sam Williams, Chauncey Golston can play there, Dorrance Armstrong. I'd let Dante Fowler walk, and I hope he gets like a 1-year, $5 million deal. I hope he gets paid so I can get the comp pick, and I'll go sign somebody else who's cheaper, and I get the comp pick from them later on, too. And it's a constant cycle of maximizing your free agency cheap veteran pickups there. One final news item, C.J. Goodwin is back as a member of the Cowboys. 1-year deal, details not yet known at this point. But Goodwin has re-signed with the Dallas Cowboys. The special team stud will be hanging around longer in Dallas. All right, same deal. Retweet my pin tweet or tag me when you tweet it out at What Going Downey. I'm going to change our post cut here real quick. Yeah, we'll go real quick to the supers. I think that's fine. Oh, that's too long. Shoot. Yeah, I have to do it that way. Sorry, I'm just editing our cut headline. That's fine. Okay, cool. Share it. I'll give shout-outs to anyone who does so. Let me get refreshed and make sure I'm not missing any. I'll follow you back to Vegas Cowboys fan. I got you. Appreciate it, bud. Cheers to you. Cody Palmer, I got you too, bro. Thank you. Edwin, I see you, brother. Jenkins Gaming, I got you. Throwing retweets in because why not? It's more fun to flood the timeline with that and piss people off. It's funnier that way. One more refresh. Make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Then we'll go rapid fire on our supers. I think we're all caught up there. Let me look at the retweets. Make sure I didn't miss any follows. Grayson, Vincent, Koza, Tucker, follow backs. There you go. Ecuadorman, Fletcher Cox got $10 million. Possible number on Hankins. Way lower for Hankins. I'm making like $3 million for Hankins. Fletcher Cox is way better. I think Hankins gets a fraction of that. Caden Pruitt, block the spammer, please. I don't even know who the spammer is, so I'll put it on sub-only chat. How about that? Sub-only chat. That'll help. We are on sub-only chat. Well, I'll bump it up to a minute timeline. That'll make things a little bit easier there. Tristan Judd, only thing about it, Hopkins is a Chief. I would not be surprised if he's a Chief. I would not. Mark, Hardest is getting a stud O-lineman with the Smith signing. I think they're going to go with a cheaper option, is my guess there in the end, but we'll wait and see. Are we caught up on supers already? Nice. All right, let's just go to the next cut then. We'll keep cooking with some gas here so we can get to the mailbag, have some real fun. Gavin Christie, I see you. I'll give you a shout out there. Booyah, get Yanks. I got you too. Followed back there. Cheers to you guys. Appreciate it. We're going to do some free agency grades here for the Cowboys. That's fun. It's also the pin poll, by the way, so make sure you're voting on that side right now. Grade the Cowboys free agency so far. A little bit more active than in previous years. A, B, C, D, or F. Get those grades in for me in the comment section. This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey with the moves that have been made so far by the Dallas Cowboys organization. We're taking a look at what's happened, who they've kept, who they've lost, who they've added, which is really a very short list on that standpoint there. I did not bring over the trade details, so we'll just verbalize it. Stephon Gilmore is a member of the Cowboys, a surprise move as Dallas give up their last comp pick in the 5th round, number 176 overall, a late 5, almost a 6, for a number 2 corner now in Stephon Gilmore, who was still really good for Indianapolis. This might end up being a 1-year rental when it's all said and done. And that's okay if it's just a 1-year rental. It doesn't need to be a multi-year, 5-year cornerback for you. It's not the end of the world there. Getting Gilmore on this team fixes one of your biggest problems last year. That was the dumpster fire that was the cornerback 2 spot. They eventually found something with DaRon Bland, Israel Mukuamu, and you still have Jordan Lewis for now, I suppose, on this roster. But now you feel good about your cornerback spot, and you start to wonder what the future holds for Nahshon Wright, what the future holds for Kelvin Joseph, in light of all the moves the Cowboys have made so far. My grade for the trade itself, and I'm counting the trade as part of free agency because, well, that makes it more fun, is an A. I'm a big fan of the Cowboys choosing to make that move. I thought it was a good decision, a un-Cowboys-like move to get a good player on the cheap. The 5th round comp pick, every now and then it's a DaRon Bland, sure. A lot of times they're players you move on from after a year, if that. I have no complaints at all with that deal. All right, some other grades for the re-signings here. Tony Pollard, $10.1-ish million franchise tag. And I do wonder a little bit if this was the right decision with the benefit of hindsight. I wanted to keep Tony Pollard because there's no speed on this team without him. That's why I was open to using the franchise tag. In general, though, I would rather make a decision. I think the franchise tag is oftentimes a half measure. You're paying a lot of money for a short period of time. Pick one. Either have the guy locked in or move on. And with the way the running back market in free agency has looked, you might have misjudged a little bit. Miles Sanders wasn't as good as Tony Pollard, I don't believe. Got 4 years, $25 million. I don't know if you're looking at a double value deal for Tony Pollard there. You're almost paying that for 1 year. So my grade for now is TBD. It is a cop-out answer. To be fair, I somewhat apologize for it, but I'm not going to say that it's the perfect deal there in the end. I want to wait and see what else happens on the Tony Pollard front. By the way, the injury, I am not worried about it. He'll be fine with the broken leg. So again, the question we asked at the top of today's show is also today's pinned comment. Grade the Cowboys free agency so far. If you haven't already voted, go to the pinned comment and do it right there for you. It is, as I said, the pinned comment of today's show. So head down there, grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. Terrence Steele is next up here. The Cowboys gave Steele the 2nd round tender that was worth $4.3 million. I'm going to give it a B. I thought they might give him the 1st round tender. I think the injury made the Cowboys think they could be cautious and not jump into giving Terrence Steele the full 1st round tender, and opposing teams will think, we're not going to pay him coming off the injury. We'll be cautious from that standpoint there. So I'll give it a B. Really kind of no other grade. I think it's going to give it a B no matter what, maybe. It's a tender. It's pretty easy there. Potential long-term deal could be done once he gets a little bit more fully healthy. Today's Cowboys Report is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me prepared to take on my day. Once baby Olivia is all set up with her breakfast, I make my own AG1. I don't feel the need for caffeine in the morning anymore, and I feel energized throughout my day. Plus, AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health. Covering my nutritional basis today literally couldn't be any easier. That's why I trust Athletic Greens. I mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. I'm done just like that, and I like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's pretty good, if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, making it the old win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Donovan Wilson, the actual numbers did come in, by the way. 3 years, $21 million on that front. That was a pretty darn good deal for the Dallas Cowboys. He wanted 8. Cowboys wanted to give him 4, allegedly, and it ended up being more on the 8 side there. The coaching staff wanted him. Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy wanted him too there. Wilson was an impact player for you as a mostly box safety. Very good football player. I did not want to lose him. I was very glad he stuck around. It's not the greatest team deal ever. It's like a massive steal, but it's a good deal. So I'm going to give it a B+. I would have been upset if they had not kept Donovan Wilson. You get a lot of B+ in free agency. You'll often end up getting some A's from the overall grade standpoint. Of the moves made so far, I think we're mostly going to say Stephon Gilmore, right? But what has been the best move made by your Dallas Cowboys at this point? Sound off for me in the comment section. This one's a valid answer, too. Once again, Leighton Vander Esch sticks around as a member of the Cowboys on a pretty team-friendly deal. 2 years, $8 million. That is it. That is one of the cheaper deals out there for a starting-level inside linebacker. Fantastic deal for the Dallas Cowboys. Vander Esch, the defense missed him when he got hurt, when he wasn't out there. LVE played really, really well this past season for the Dallas Cowboys. Looked more like the rookie year version of Leighton Vander Esch. I'm giving it an A. You're getting a starting caliber linebacker for $4 million. That's really good value. That is an example of I'm fine when they like their guys. So good job there. And then the final re-signing so far, C.J. Goodwin is back in Dallas. 1-year deal. As we sit here filming, details not yet known. It'll probably be around $1.3 million would be my guess. Just maybe around the vet minimum. He'll be another core special teamer. Now, when the Cowboys make more moves, and they will, even if they're not the biggest moves out there, we will have you guys covered. So make sure you are subscribed right here to the Cowboys Report. Now, part of free agency is who you end up losing. Connor McGovern jumps the Buffalo Bills. 3 years, $22.35 million. Pretty decent-sized deal for him. That's upper starting guard money. It's more than what you paid Leighton Vander Esch. Happy for you, Connor, but I did not want to pay that money in the end. Luke Gifford, good for him. 2 years, $4 million to the Tennessee Titans, one of the core special teamers the Cowboys ended up losing this free agency cycle. He might get a slightly bigger role in Tennessee, but that was more than what Dallas was going to give him. Same with Noah Brown, who moves down to Houston. 1 year, $2.6 million for Noah Brown. It's double what he made this past year for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm okay with that. I didn't want to pay him big money. He's a 4th or 5th receiver. If Houston wants to keep adding veterans, hey, more power to him. Finally, Ezekiel Elliott was released by the Dallas Cowboys. If we want to include the Tyron Smith pay cut here, by the way, as part of this conversation, it's not really a loss, also not really a re-signing, but I'll mention him. It was a good deal to Dallas, bring that cap hit down by almost $10 million. Tyron Smith has always been one of the most team-friendly players. Those contracts he's done, it has always been less money. Ezekiel Elliott, though, the era is over in Dallas. The Cowboys are not done. They will make more moves, I promise you. So who do you want the Cowboys to go get next? Let me know in the comments section what player or players you want Big D to add. There are some players who are still unsigned, by the way. Dalton Schultz, the tight end. I think he's gone, I also thought he would have signed by now. So in the event that he doesn't get what he looks, maybe he works his way back to Dallas. I think they will have interest in re-signing both Hankins and Carlos Watkins. We'll see what the money looks like for those guys, / if there's roles for both of them still. Dante Fowler, if you want to bring back, sure, $3 million is my max for him because, he's your fifth edge. It's fine. Anthony Brown with Stephon Gilmore here. I think he's done. Cooper Rush, the quarterback. The longer he goes unsigned, better chance he's back. We will see about T.Y. Hilton. The veteran, I don't know how much he really wants to return, etc. there. Anthony Barr, the linebacker, I think he's going to leave. I don't know if Jason Peters is going to play football anymore. Avion Collins, the offensive lineman, they do want to bring him back, by the way. Rico Dowdle, the running back, was an RFA non-tender. He could still end up back on a much cheaper deal in Dallas. Then your special teamers. Long snappers, Matt Overton, Jake McQuaid. I bet one of them's back. And kicker Brett Maher, he might not be back in the end. So with all the moves made so far, I'm giving the Cowboys a B. I'm not grading on a massive curve because the Cowboys did the things we wanted them to do, and we're happy about that. But in the overall grand scape of NFL free agency, not really an A off season, but it is a better one than what we've seen. Therefore, it's a B. All right, hit me up on Twitter. Share this video. There's a fucking shit show out there. Arizona lost to Princeton.
Number 2, Princeton, or Arizona just lost to Princeton in March Madness.
Wow.
This is March.
Change that if you want. Get the right game on. Wow. Where did I have him? Where'd you have him in the bracket then? Is that what all the chaos is out there? I'm pulling up my bracket. How far? I think I had Arizona going pretty far. 2 minutes. Wow, Princeton stuns Arizona. Decent look there, by the way, to tie it. That was a decent look. All right, how far did I have Arizona going? Arkansas, Illinois game. All right, let me see how far I had Arizona going. Well, my bracket's so bad. My bracket's terrible. That's okay. I think most people's are this year. Oh, I had Creighton winning, so that makes me feel better. So I only had them Elite 8. That's not even the world there. All right, share the video on Twitter. @WhatGoingDowney. Downey. Tag me. I will give you some love there. I see you, Tucker. Appreciate it, bud. I don't think I've missed any more here. We hit that one and then save the question ones for the mailbag here. But Mark is perfect. He says, "Oops, I'm at the draft." I wouldn't rule out a guard in the draft still because the Cowboys like taking offensive linemen. They really do. So I wouldn't totally rule that one out in the draft there. Joey, we'll save that one for the mailbag. If you want. Yeah, if you want. Yeah. Sam, what do you think is good value for OBJ? We can do Sam's here. I wouldn't go above 10. I don't know where you fall on that one, Trace.
I'm like at most 12. I'm like 10 to 12.
Spots. It's just a lot for me. Just a lot. We're going to have a mailbag here. 2 ways to get on the show. Super chat. We'll hit some of the ones that came in earlier. Or use #Cowboys in the comments section. #Cowboys or super chat. Looks like one of the people in the office had Arizona as the national champion, by the way. Yeah, that's rough. Was not me. Wasn't me. You hate to see it there. So get your questions in via Super Chat or by using #Cowboys. If you use #Cowboys, Trace will be able to find your questions and bring them up on screen. Otherwise, he's not going to see them. He's not going to see them. So get him in there. #Cowboys or Super Chat. Obviously, the free agency ones we'll be careful with since it'll go out on Saturday, but I'll just do good, nice, hard pauses around them there, Trace, in case we got to trim things out later on. Welcome into the Cowboys Report, presented today by Kinzuri. Fellas, if you're feeling insecure about your height, they make sure you're going to have to 2.8 inches to your height discreetly, by the way. For a limited time, they're offering our viewers an exclusive discount of 15% on top of their up to 30% site-wide discount. Use code CHAT at Kinzuri.com/chat for the deal. More on them later on in today's show. A super chat and some super thanks we'll get to here too from Joey Hoey. At least that's how, I assume it's how it's pronounced if you're doing the rhyming part. Thoughts on Mike Gesicki and Jalen Hyatt in the first. If you want just a seam stretcher tight end, sure on Gesicki, but I think they might want a better blocker. I'm not sure what Mike McCarthy wants there in the end. We'll see on that front. Hyatt in the first, I wouldn't be the worst. I wouldn't be angry at it, but I will have better players on my board because he's a slot-dominant guy who does bring you speed, but he needs a lot of work as a route runner still. All right, a super thanks from Tyler Parrott. I'm sick of getting my hopes up. We could have had Jalen Ramsey or Dalen Waller for a third-round pick. Why do teams want to win more than us? Now, this was sent, I believe, before the Stephon Gilmore trade. Maybe I feel a little bit better on that one. I am glad the Cowboys went out that route and found Stephon Gilmore. Marquise Taliaferro just says, thanks. Thank you. Super thanks is a new-ish feature here on YouTube. You can click the little dollar sign with the heart around it there. You can edit a message, send in a comment. We will give you a shout out at some point on one of our shows. Obviously, these came in before free agency, so we're just getting caught up here a little bit because I haven't had the typical mailbag yet. So if you do a super thanks, we appreciate you. We will give you some love on the show if you super thanks, or, of course, if you super chat. From Jay Smooth, a constant super chatter and super thanker. I like Darnell Washington. He's 6'8". He may fall in the second round. Darnell's a hard man to bring down. He's really big. I'm a huge Darnell Washington fan. I wouldn't be opposed to him in round 1, depending on how the board fell, because he shouldn't get to you in terms of his talent level. I don't think he should get to you in the second round. He might still. You're right. There's a possibility that at the NFL draft, weird stuff happens. I'm a huge fan of his game. I'm going to take the 6'7" athlete who's like 270 and moves incredibly well. I'll take that guy every day in the draft. Like, that is a worthwhile gamble at tight end, even if he wasn't the most productive player behind Brock Bowers. I like his game a lot. I think it's a fantastic name to keep an eye out for. All right, who do you want to draft, or the Cowboys draft, I should say, in round 1? It'll be the pinned comments on today's show. So if an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Sam, what do you think is good value for Odell Beckham? $10 million per year with some incentives. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the likely outcome for what he ends up getting. I have no idea. He hasn't been healthy. He has missed a lot of time in the past year with injuries. 2 years with injuries, 3 years with injuries. Raises a lot of red flags for me. Duncan, who did, I believe, retract this one. It's okay, Duncan. We'll give you the love. Says Colgate's going to lose to Texas, and Texas A&M going to lose to Penn State. Texas better than everybody else. Let's go Cowboys. See what ends up happening, Duncan. Cheers to you. Everyone enjoy your March Madness. Great time of the year. From Mark, other than OBJ and Hopkins, what good free agent wide receiver helps? I would call about a Mecole Hardman. I'd be calling about DJ Chark. Those guys fit what you need at this stage, which is speed. Chark brings the size this team typically likes. No guarantee the Cowboys will get them. We know how they normally do business in free agency, but those are two names I would certainly keep my eye on at this stage. Now, today's Cowboys Report is presented by Kinzuri. If you're tired of feeling insecure about your height, they make shoes that have to 2.8 inches to your height discreetly, by the way. Women get high heels, makeup, or push-up bras, so why can't men get a confidence boost too? We're all the same height lying down, if you know what I mean. Kinzuri shoes not only height boosting, but also stylish and comfortable. They're not grandpa's Velcro shoes, those are ugly, but are fashionable shoes that can receive compliments even without the height increase. The height insoles are integrated into the shoes, making it the ultimate height hack. For a limited time, Kinzuri is offering our viewers an exclusive discount of 15% on top of their up to 30% site-wide discount. Use code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at Kinzuri.com/chat to get your 45% off. Don't wait any longer. Upgrade your shoe game and confidence now at CONZURI.com/chat. You want to get high, put on a pair of Kinzuris. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Jose Banks, I knew we'd have a Miles Jack question. I'm not surprised at all there. maybe. Miles Jack, I know he's a household name because, he was a two-way player at USC. Should have been a first-round pick. Good for the Jags. Wasn't good the past 2 years. So if he wants to just play cheaply, sure, I'm always down for cheap veterans for this team. But I don't think you're getting the caliber of player you think you'd be getting. I almost want to see what Damone Clark, Jabril Cox, or even a Devin Harper could do as a full-time linebacker for this team. Now, when it comes to free agency, name a player you want to sign. No wrong answer. It's an opinion. Answer however you want to. Drop that free agent name for me in the comments section. Brandon J., what is DeAndre Hopkins' cap hit if we trade for him? Seeing people's holding this up. I guess we want to take less to play in Dallas. Again, I would be very cautious in he would take less to play for Dallas. I think this is more of I would be willing to not get what I consider to be the market rate on a new deal. Instead of making $25 million, maybe I'll make $18 million. That might be more on lines here. But he is due $19.45 million base salary this year and then $14.92 next year, which isn't really the route that you normally see there. So $19 million is a lot of money. I don't know if the option bonus has been picked up or if that's been paid by them, so it could be more. It could be more like 21 and 17. But yeah, you have to do something with that contract, and that is a potential logjam in any potential trade of DeAndre Hopkins. You want to be a part of the mailbags? If so, then subscribe. Free videos every single day right here on the Cowboys Report. I do mailbags fairly frequently because it's nice to engage with you guys there. Hit that sub button right now. Chris B., Jerry Jeudy, Albright reports we called again. I do believe that they did, but Broncos have a high asking price. I've heard a first. I've heard a early second and a player. I've heard a first and change. So that's a lot of capital to give up for a good receiver who you would be doing as a rental because you're probably not going to pay Jeudy at the same time you're paying CeeDee Lamb as well. Steven Gonzalez, Cowboys trade their first to Buffalo for Stephon Diggs, then get a second in round 2. Look, you're not going to get Stephon Diggs. I know Trayvon Diggs wants his brother here in Dallas. It's just not going to happen. The Bills have restructured Stephon Diggs. They were never going to trade him. Now it makes it even more financially reckless. They'll lose so much salary cap space. I regret to reform. It's just not going to happen. Brandon J., that sounds reasonable for a player of his caliber. It's not that, I think it's referring to DeAndre Hopkins. It's not that far off, I don't think. But Dallas didn't want to pay Amari Cooper $20 million because of availability stuff. Hopkins has missed more time. That's going to be an issue for them, I think. Brandon J., how about DJ Chark? What is he asking for? I don't know. The receiver market appears to be like 5, 6 on the low end for now, 11 on the high end. He made $10 million last year. I wonder if he wants something similar. If I can get one of these receivers down to 5, 6, or 7, I've got interest in making that move happen. Mighty Ann, I heard a day 3 pick for Sutton. I would be surprised if they dumped Sutton for a day 3 pick. I would guess they want more than that. A day 3 pick for like KJ Hamler might make more sense. But trade market's wonky sometimes. Never say never. But I would be surprised if it was only a day 3 pick for Cortland Sutton. Andrew Vanderpool, who would you rather have? Hyatt at the first, Tillman in the third. I have Hyatt a little bit higher than Tillman because I want the speed, especially for this team. I crave that vertical ability. But I think Tillman is the better value. And my suspicion is Dallas also might like one of Tillman in the end. I think that Tillman's he might be a good fit for what they want to do on offense moving forward. From Mark, can you see us getting Bijan and then letting Pollard go next year? There's a shot he drops to Dallas. He's like a top 10 player. How can you ignore that? Positional value. You know, we've talked with Mark about wanting a receiver, a guard, a defensive lineman, which is true. If you don't fill those needs, it's a lot harder to fill them after round 1 with lesser players. So, in terms of that outcome, though, yes, very real possibility that they take. If Bijan gets to you, not sure he will. He might go like the Commanders or something at this point. But if Bijan's there, I could see them taking him and then moving on for Pollard after 1 season. So far, with what we know at this stage for the Dallas Cowboys offseason, grade it for me in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. It's been better than what we're accustomed to. Doesn't mean it's the perfect offseason, but I'm in a much better mood than I was this time last year. So grade it. A, B, C, D, or F. All right, it is the pin comment, the pin poll, I should say at this point here. Need to get some water in me. I think I owe. How many shots do we owe? None. No, I owe one for Brian, and a lot of beer cheers. That's what I owe. There we go. Whew. Cheers. Text the wife back here if you want to give some shout-outs, Trace. Thanks, bud.
All right, let's get some shout-outs to those of y'all who are grading the offseason so far for the Cowboys. Let us know. What do y'all think of the offseason so far? They want Stephon Diggs, J.J. Watt. I miss watching NFL football. We want Stephon. We got a $5 super chat from Panda.
I think the Cowboys should draft Air Bud. This guy's rangy, has good length, and he's a real dog. He got that dog in him, man. He got that dog in him.
He got that dog.
Cheers. I owe a bunch of beers. We'll start chugging here.
Everyone's typing B, A minus, C plus, A, B, B plus, B minus, B, C, B, mid, woo! B, Simsy.
It's better than what we're used to.
Yeah.
That's why I give it a B, because it's better than what we are used to.
B for better.
Maybe it's a bit of a low bar, but I'll take it in the end. All right, one last time, you share the video and tag me. I will give you a follow back.
Don't be like the Commanders. Don't be like the Commanders fans and be fraudulent.
Make sure I haven't missed any here. I got Jenkins Gaming. Excuse me. Nothing new yet. One more refresh, then we'll move on to our final cut of the day. Then we'll just stay live as long as supers come in. You guys, there's a super right on cue.
Boom.
We'll do that one from Adwin, and then we'll get going with the show.
Boom.
All right, Adwin, what do you feel the offensive gameplay should be? No more curls and hitches and stuff.
Put the ball in your playmaker's hands.
We're not asking for, we don't need massive change. You've been a top 5 offense for 5 years running now when your quarterback's been healthy. The last 3 years, the quarterback's been healthy, you've averaged 30 points a game. It's really good. It's absurd. It has to, but the thing is, I think we are all okay if it drops 27, if it's a more consistent 27 and not 41 week and 13 the next. If you get that consistency, and you get if you get Bucks DAC or Bucks playoff DAC against the Niners again in the playoffs, you'll have more success. I think that Niners team just has their number there. Yeah. Tag me on Twitter @WhatGoingDowney, Marcella @WhatGoingDowney. I'll also put my pinned tweet in there if you guys want to retweet it. It's easier path, I suppose, to doing. There you go. Make sure I didn't miss any of the retweets, of the follow backs. I did miss one. Terrell, I got you. I got you, Terrell. Thank you. Make sure I'm not missing any more here. You can either retweet my pinned tweet or share this video on Twitter, and I will retweet that as well for you guys here. Give you guys some time. We'll break down Brandon Jay's super chat, and then we'll get to our final segment. We'll talk more about Zeke, because I know not everyone's over Zeke at this show, which I understand. Marcelli, you can do either. Either tweet it separately or retweet mine, whatever is easiest for you. Brandon J., when do we have to pay Diggs? You don't have to pay him for a few more years. If you wanted to, he could play out the final year of his deal this upcoming year, franchise tag him twice, and then pay him. Doesn't mean that's a route you want to go. And I think if you're Dallas, you would rather be at the point where you pay him sooner, because the problem I think you're going to run into, gotcha, Simsy on Twitter, I gotcha, is the market for cornerbacks has kind of slowed a little bit. You know, the guys this year, James Bradbury, Jamel Dean, Jonathan Jones, they did not get much. They did not get much money.
Yeah.
J.C. Jackson did not get much money. But Jair Alexander, Denzel Ward, etc., those guys did get money. And I think you're going to see a player like Diggs asking for more like Jair Alexander, Denzel Ward money than settling for the J.C. Jackson number. And that's where I think things start to get a little bit dicey. So we'll see on that for you. You don't know? Okay there, Trace? Trace went to Arkansas, and the lead's down to 5. Yeah, that's a great. I'm surprised that was not an and one, by the way. It's a great finish. It's a great finish. It's a 7-point game with 1:30 to go here. We can hang out and wait for you. 3-point for Illinois, tipped. 1:20 to go, and a foul called. If you feeling okay, we can just watch you be in shambles here. How's your bracket doing?
My bracket's done.
How far did you have Arizona going?
Elite 8.
Okay.
I had him Elite 8. So I had him going far. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's so. Ugh.
A lot of upsets today.
Yeah.
Everyone I talked to was like, it'll probably be chalk. I'm like, is it going to be chalk? And then it was not chalk. It was not chalk.
It's a good tournament. So, I mean, we've only had a handful of games.
Everyone likes upsets.
Yes. Who doesn't like a good upset?
So, Arkansas is at the line. Whoever Ricky Council is what's his face, Smith playing?
Nick Smith Jr.
Is he hurt? He's playing?
He was hurt at the beginning of the season. He's good now.
Okay, because I know in the NBA 2K rookie classes he's really good. So
yeah,
that's how I know
he's gonna be a lottery pick for sure. But
there you go. So it is now a 8-point game. Trace's shambles level dropping. It's a 9-point game.
We're good. We can breathe, guys.
Minute 18.
Breathe. We can breathe. It's okay.
But what if they hit a 3 here?
Well, then the heart rate jumps back up. Then I might need that Jack Daniels bottle. That's
all right.
what
Timeout, Illinois. You feeling okay to do the cut
Let's do the cut.
Because knowing college basketball might not be over.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll probably come back to this, and it'll be, you know.
There you go. All right, final part. We're going to look at Ezekiel Elliott here. By the way, this will be posted on both our NFL channel and our Cowboys channel. So double dipping, if you would. Today's show is made possible by Kinzuri. If you are tired of feeling insecure about your height, Kinzuri makes shoes in up to 2.8 inches to your height discreetly. Women get heels, makeup, and push-up bras. Why can't men get a confidence boost too? We're all the same height lying down, if you know what I mean there. Kinzuri shoes are not only height boosting, but stylish and comfortable. Get 15% off on top of their up to 30% off ongoing sale at kinzuri.com/chat. Let's talk Ezekiel Elliott, the now former Dallas Cowboy running back, was cut by the organization at the start of the new league year on Wednesday, March 15th, ending his time as a member of the Cowboys organization. It was a necessary move for Dallas. Elliott can still help you in short yardage, in red zone, in pass protection. He can still be good in those areas, but those areas are not the high-end impact areas that teams crave from their running backs. And when you factor in the massive contract, it was a no-brainer for the Cowboys. But there could still be interest in him in the open market. Even though the numbers have really begun to decline, 3.8 yards per carry this year is not very good. That is below replacement level. 4.2 in 2021, 4.0 in 2020. The unfortunate reality here for Ezekiel Elliott, he's just not that good anymore. I'm not saying he's the worst running back in the NFL, but I am saying the guy we all remember from 2016, that dynamite season, he ain't him anymore. And it's unfair, unrealistic to expect him to be that guy anymore. But he can still help in a smaller role. The problem you always see teams, you saw with Adrian Peterson, The smaller role is often the RB3 role, and RB3s, in most cases, have to help on special teams. Older running backs don't normally play special teams. That's why a big reason why Dallas made the move to move on from Ezekiel Elliott. Now, for Dallas, at the moment, we're going to come back to this, hint, hint, it's Tony Pollard, Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle is a free agent as well. That is the current standings, or depth chart, I should say, for your running back. We're going to break down my list of destinations for Ezekiel Elliott here momentarily, but I want to hear from you guys first and foremost. Where do you think Zeke plays in 2023? If an ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know where you think Zeke plays this season. That's the overview of Ezekiel Elliott. Now, the top 6 Ezekiel Elliott destinations, beginning with, yes, the Dallas Cowboys. I think it is a low chance. I would be surprised if it went down, but I would say there is a non-zero chance that the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott kiss and make up and get back together for a year. I think the scenario in which that ends up happening is this. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't find the market very good. There's nobody offering him more than maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million. And he says, you know what? I am willing to come back and play a very small role. I will take a handful of touches and snaps, etc. for you guys. And I will be the low-end RB2. I'll do pass protection. Hell, I might do some special teams for you because I still want to be a Cowboy. I want to play with Dak. The statement from Jerry absolutely sounded final. And that is why they are low on this list. At number 6, the least likely team we'll discuss today. But I can't 100% rule it out, but I would be surprised in the end. All right, next up on our list, we'll get to in a moment, because today's show is presented by Kinzuri. If you're tired of feeling insecure about your height, they make shoes you're going to have to 2.8 inches to you. Right? That's a pretty good deal, by the way, discreetly, might I add. Women get makeup, they get high heels, push-up bras. Why can't men get a confidence boost as well? These shoes not only height boosting, but they're stylish and they're comfortable as well. They're not grandpa's Velcro shoes, thank goodness, but fashionable shoes that can receive compliments even without the height increase, because the height insoles are integrated into the shoes, making it the ultimate height hack. For a limited time only, they are offering our viewers an exclusive discount of 15% off. That is a limited time offer. Use code CHAT at Kinzuri.com/ get your 45% off. It's 15% on top of their already 30% site-wide discount. Don't wait any longer. Upgrade your shoe game and confidence at CONZURI.com/chat. If you want to get high, put on a pair of Kinzuris. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. Next up on our list, it is the Buffalo Bills. They're in a pretty good spot overall as an organization, but they have been kind of linked in the market to adding another potential running back. They've been looking right. They've invested a lot in recent years, might I add, in the running back position. They've drafted Zach Moss. They restructured Nyheim Hines. They have James Cook. Cook as the next option for, along with Zeke and Nyheim Hines. It actually works as a trio in Buffalo and would allow them to not invest another big draft pick into a running back. In theory, they would let go of Devin Singletary, by the way. So keep an eye on Buffalo for Zeke. Big important question here, and I'm curious what you guys have to say. What is the most you would pay Ezekiel Elliott per year? The vet minimum is about $1.3 million, so keep that one in mind. What is the most you would pay Zeke? Sound off for me in the comment section. Number 4, the Cincinnati Bengals. Samaje Perine is gone. Joe Mixon may or may not be back with the Bengals. As we sit here filming, he is still a member, but there's been plenty of buzz and conversation about his future. Samaje Perine's role was third down, short yardage, the occasional pass catch, and pass protection. Sounds like Zeke, doesn't it? I think Zeke Elliott could step into the Samaje Perine role in Cincinnati. Plus, he gets to go to his home state. He gets to go back to Ohio. He played at Ohio State, right? He gets to go play for the Bengals. Probably makes more sense for the Browns there. So I'll mention the Bengals, who typically like to go younger in the free agency market, though, when they actually sign guys. Now, if you want more videos every single day, this is the best spot for you. Hit that subscribe button. Free videos multiple times per day at this stage. Don't miss out in the NFL free agency period. Number 3, the Chicago Bears. David Montgomery is gone. Travis Homer is in. He's kind of a third down special teams back there. Ezekeiel Elliott alongside Khalil Herbert could actually work. Now, I do wonder if in the end the Bears are just going to draft a running back, but Chicago actually I think could make sense for Elliott. Maybe the cold weather argument for a battering ram runner like Zeke would actually still apply. Number 2, the Los Angeles Chargers. To be fair, everyone connects all former Cowboys players with the Chargers because of the presence of Kellen Moore. Austin Eckler may or may not be sticking around in L.A., but either way, the running backs then are Joshua Kelly, Isaiah Spiller, and Larry Roundtree III. That does not strike fear into the hearts of opposing defensive coordinators. I'm not sure Elliott does anymore at this point, too, but it is a worthwhile mention because Kellen Moore would know what Zeke can solve for. Although there were the claims that it was the front office and the Jones boys who really wanted Ezekeiel Elliott getting touches, not so much. Always a claim, never quite proven. Do you guys want your team to sign Ezekeiel Elliott? Sound off for me in the comments section. Why for yes and for no? Go vote. Be honest with me, whatever your team is, vote right now. Number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had made this claim before the report from Tampa that the Bucs would have interest. Now, they did sign Chase Edmonds. And as of filming, maybe it'll come out in the next couple of hours or something, Chase Edmonds the contract details are not known. I'm betting that's a cheap one-year deal. And in that case, maybe it's not even making the team. Rashad White's there. Sean Vaughn has been a pretty big bust in Tampa. There's also Skip Pete as the running backs coach who knows Zeke really well. And in part because of that connection, I do think a potential Elliott to Tampa destination does make sense. Dave Canales, the offensive coordinator, I think wants to run the football. Do they trust Rashad White fully? I'm not so sure. Adding a vet like Elliott alongside Chase Edmonds would potentially allow the Bucs, to have other picks invested in that are not the running back spot. All right. Do you want to sign Odell Beckham? Did they win? I guess there's a storm outside right now. I actually can't tell. It's all blacked out, but it sounds like there's a storm. And that's why we lost the DirecTV there feed there. That one did not sound good. Yeah, but all right. Arkansas wins. Chase Shambles level, non-existent right now. I'm happy for you, buddy. I'm happy for you. All right. OBJ for yes, no BJ for no. The votes in. We will stay live as long as Super Chats come in. $10. Oh, I will get to that one later. Brandon J. What pick would Tennessee accept for Jeffrey Simmons? I think you got to move the first. I don't see them giving up on one of the best young defensive linemen in the NFL. Those guys are tough to find. DeForest Buckner, same question for Brandon J. Maybe the second gets it done for him. For DeForest Buckner, but I think it's a more realistic one than Jeffrey Simmons, Buckner. I would love Jeffrey Simmons. I do know that he wants big money, though. He wants a lot of money. So Simmons is a fun idea, but I do not know how likely it is he ends up coming to Dallas. As for the next one from Brandon J. as well, Buckner. We talked about him. It's a good name to call about. Colts are kind of rebuilding, but their GM gave up a first-round pick for DeForest Buckner. He might not want to move on for cheap there. All is well. $10. Let's do it. Best sports show on the planet featuring Tom Downey. That's very kind of you, my friend. Thank you very much. A shot for you. 2 minutes on the clock. Oh, I actually think we got to get to Rashard Lee and Protect the Sun 1 super chats too there. I will read them off then if they got lost. That's okay. Rashard Lee, $2. Arizona messed up my bracket. You're not alone. Cheers. Would rather have DJ Chark and Mike Gesicki for basically the same price as D-Hop with no draft picks given up. You make a good argument. You lay that out in a good way there, my friend. But I think I would rather have Hopkins because I don't love those players that much. Like, I would be fine if they signed one of them or both of them. Probably more so DJ Chark there. But I think that's an example of, like, the money adds up similarly, and you do lose the draft pick, sure. You're getting a really good football player. I think I'd rather have Hopkins there. 1 minute on the clock. If no more supers, I will go home and take care of my sick child. Sleeping all day.
Yeah, that's going to be fun for you, Tom.
I had to take care of her last night, and like in the middle of the night, like I feel her forehead, she's burning up. I'm like, great, this is a disaster. She woke up like every half hour. It was rough. It was not fun there. So I did not sleep well there in the end. Isaac Watts, it's his birthday. Cheers to you.
Happy birthday, Isaac.
Jenkins Gaming. If Kevontae Turpin got Kanzuris, can he get a shot as a wideout? It would help. He also might need like one of the fat suits too.
Yeah,
He's pretty light there.
Yeah.
Brandon J. I think Robbie Anderson has anything left. Chosen Anderson. And no.
Yeah, no.
He was bad at the end in Carolina and was a non-factor in Arizona. So I'm out on that standpoint there. All right, let's go ahead and sign off here. We're good. Got to get home, take care of the kid. She does not feel good. Poor kiddo is not feeling well. If you missed anything, it'll all be available on demand. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Free videos right here on the Cowboys Report.